Alright, welcome. I think today we're going to do some flying. We're going to create us a career in NeoFly and get flying. Build our aircraft up, fly all kinds of aircraft. Get leveled up in different... Don't know if you're familiar with NeoFly, but it's just a separate program that you can play on top of the simulator. I really do enjoy it. So let's start from scratch. Okay. Skeeter will be my call sign, and let's start off at airport U-36. It's a little airport in Idaho in the United States. Little Aberdeen, Idaho. It's just about 12 miles from my house, so this is my backyard. So, call sign will be Skeeter. Aberdeen, Idaho will be our airport. We're going to start out with the Cessna 152. We're going to do survival mode, which means if we crash, we die, we lose everything. You can customize it, but everything, my flight simulator, everything's on hard, so I don't have assistance. I may use a person running my radios when we get into the bigger jets and stuff, but everything is at the closest to realism as I can get. And this, I've actually lost a very good pilot just on a hard landing, or if your computer glitches, I've lost one there. I've had a complete career in jets, flying in a jet at 41,000 feet. Computer glitched and I died, so I lost everything. Get right back into a small plane and start over. So, okay, we're gonna add that. And I'm gonna come down here. Skeet 1 is my personal, Skeeter will be ours. So let's start this. And this will be the plane we're gonna start at, the little Cessna 152. Alright. Okay. You got your tabs on top. You have your missions. This is all the missions we're able to fly right now. Aircraft market, excuse me, are the planes that are for sale at the airport we are located at. And there is no way a Boeing 747 is going to take off at this airport. Here's our map to the right, and U-36 is right there. So we have a runway length of 3,672 feet. And it's probably 70 feet wide, maybe. Yeah, not gonna happen. So when you do buy planes, make sure you can take it off. Even this Cessna CJ4 would have a tough time. You'd be alright. You could get it out of there. Everything here could get out except for that 747. So okay, we can choose what we want to do. I think in a 152 we are just gonna start out with cargo, because there's not a lot we can do. Okay, our market. I don't really play much in this. This is you can bring up different cargoes, TVs. You can buy the goods, put them on your plane, fly to the next place, sell them. So if you want to get into marketing products, you got TV, you got beer, fuel, clothes, flowers, and the list goes on and on. We may dabble into that later on, but right now I'll throw a cargo flight on. Okay, this is our window when we're actually doing our flight. So we will get to that when we start our flight. And there we are. Call sign Skeeter, experience level 0. We're a cadet, and we have a qualification to fly a single engine prop. That's it. Here's our stats. We haven't done nothing yet, so we haven't failed, we haven't crashed, we haven't succeeded. None of our achievements are available. So this is where, and if we want to get into a multi-engine prop, we'll click on this. We have to do a check ride. If we don't pass, we don't get to ride. And this is a single engine turbo, multi-turbo, jet, and heavy jet. So this would be your 747. I don't know if your A320 would be classified as a heavy. I've been here and I've loved to fly the Cessna Longitudes. So, okay, that's the staff. Here's the hangar. We have a Cessna 152. It's located in U-36. 0 hours on the airframe. We've got 90 fuel, so we're half a tank. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Cost 125,000. Max load is 589, but if we put the fuel on, max is 168, so you take that from your max payload, and then that'll get you what cargo you can hold. I haven't done much 152s, so this may be interesting, and I have got to get my tablet. Just a sec, be right back. Okay, pilot wasn't prepared, so let me do a little work here. So we got 589, and if we're maxed out on fuel, okay, we're only going to be about 421, but then you gotta take away 421. Okay, with the pilot weight, fuel weight, we can only do 251. So if we keep in our mind 250 pounds, that's it. Anything else will be overweight, and we will, I'm sure we'll break the weight limit. Okay, so I'm going to make notations here. Cessna 152, 250 pounds. All right. We do got to put our tail in. And Skeeter, yes, is my nickname. So we were going to go with that. Okay. Skeeter. We'll come back to here once we know. Okay, that's our hangar. We'll have a list of planes. The more you get, the more the merrier. Right click. We can do repairs, engine overhaul. We can hire pilots. We can sell the plane. Unfortunately, we have to have at least one plane. So if we go to sell it, it says no way. Okay. Definitely want insurance. That'll cost us every flight we take. I can't remember the percentage, maybe 10%. I've never had to use an insurance claim, so I don't know how that works. Like I say, rough landing, I die. It didn't matter if I was insured or not. So maybe that goes with the hours. Not quite sure. Okay, that's our hangar. FBOs, we don't deal with that. You can buy and manage FBOs, which are located at different airports, setting up hubs. Okay, here's our log. I'm going to go ahead and reset the log. This will show all our flights. I should have kept that up there, but we'll see after our first flight. Okay, finances. Here's our loans. We can just click on a loan, execute it, the money. We only got 10 grand. We're only a cadet, so we can just think. And if we want to refresh the loans, try to find the loan that works for us. Because we will be buying planes. Every time we land, we look. We definitely want to get into a bigger plane as fast as we can. But you make a lot of money in this, so it's really not hard. Now, if you want to do multiplayer, which we're not, and you also have a campaign. I haven't flown this yet, of course. You see the red dots. They just give you a different airport to here. They pay you for it. Takes you about 31 minutes, 40,000, and get 80 points experience. And just click, fly the mission. Maybe we'll play with that at a later date, but alright, let's get going here. Okay, our magic number is, we can do, okay, we could do it by pay. Okay, here's a pay. Flying U-36 to KIDA, which I actually know this. This is going to fly us to Idaho Falls, Idaho. 50 miles away. Expiration is the 22nd, so it's the 16th. We got plenty of time to do it. 256 pounds. Okay, we know we're at 250 if we're maxed out. So I can actually put on pretty good fuel. This is a big airport. I mean, airlines land here, so we could do little ones, but it's the most paying job. So let's right click that and let's fly that. Okay, that automatically throws us into the flying window. We can stack missions, which we'll do later. There's really nothing we can do stacking here. Okay, I'm gonna write down on my pad here. We're gonna leave U-36. We are arriving at KIDA. Our payload is going to be 256. Okay, that's all I need to know. Alright, we are going to leave this. Okay, let's get to our weight and balance as our 172. Okay, you have to have 170 for your pilot. You can add more, but you can't do less. So this is where we really don't have any place to put baggage. So let me get my calculator out. We want to make sure we load this. So we're going to do 256 plus 170. Let's divide that by 2. Okay, we want 341 pounds per side. So let's do 341. 341. See, it says at 50% fuel, we are already at max. Why are we at max? By a lot. I only got so our maximum takeoff was 18. That'd be 19. So that don't even make, maybe our numbers are off. Man, we can't even do 200 pounds in this poor thing. Might be a glitch. I don't see how we can be that far off. We're good here. Huh. Alright, let's see what it does. Okay, we're gonna go to U36. Here we are, Aberdeen Municipal. And here it is, short little runway, and I like to park right here. Ramp 10, parking, departure. And then we're gonna go to KIDA. And you can see this circle right here. There's our fuel range that we have on board right now. So anything in this circle we can make on the fuel that I had on the plane. So let's go up here to Idaho Falls. That's our arrival. There, 36 minutes. It says 62 nautical miles. But we're gonna take off. We're gonna go this way. We have nothing fancy on this plane, so it's gonna be a direct takeoff. Okay, we're at winds are 9 knots at 230 degrees, so kind of gives me an idea of what runway we're going to be taking off at. Okay, well, we're going to fly that. Okay, I'm going to take a break real second for while this is loading up. Be right back. Okay, now the very first thing we do before we get on board is get rid of the coffee, so I did that. Okay, here we are in our little Cessna. I do fly real time, real weather, so this is pretty much what we got right now. I'm gonna double check something here. Something just don't feel right. Okay, wow, I don't know what I did. You've probably already caught it and you're saying, hey dummy, that's wrong. Can't even use a calculator correct. Okay. It's not 341. It's 213. Better. I don't know what I did with the calculator, but something didn't seem right. Okay, that's with 50% fuel. We're well within our limits, so I'm actually going to put some fuel on. So, okay, that was bugging me. All right, we can already see I'm icing up a little bit. It shows us, wow, it shows us negative. Can't read that. Very cold. -10. It's not that cold outside. But this will be a problem. This little plane, we have absolutely nothing for icing. And you can see icing starting right there, which could pretty well ruin our day. Okay, I get rid of my yokes. Okay, once we get this far, I gotta get back into NeoFly. And here it is. Okay, we're at cargo mission 256, no passengers, Aberdeen to Idaho Falls. There's our distance, there's our guideline, there's our pay. Request, there is none. We are in a Cessna 152. Everything's in good shape. Gonna go up to the hangar and we'll do a little slide over and buy. So we're 6 pounds over now. There's $84 of fuel. We are plumb full of fuel. You have to manage your fuel here. Doesn't matter what you have in the flight simulator, because once we go into this, it's automatically going to adjust our fuel in the plane to match what's ever here. So we should have full fuel tanks now. Okay, go back to flying, and we're going to connect.
Transporter from dispatch. Good morning. The cargo mission will start as soon as you get on your plane, in the parking. Transporter form dispatch. Loading cargo. Please stand by.
Okay, as they're loading cargo, they're going to make some noise here. Okay, we're going to have all greens. Here's your current payload. We're right on the money. If you miscalculated, say your pilot was you didn't put enough cargo, it's either going to say you're missing plus or minus if you're over. So this means we're right on the money. Everything's great. The motor's off like it's supposed to. Parking brake is set. If it's red, just go in there and set your parking brake.
Transporter from dispatch. The cargo is on board. You are clear to taxi to the runway and take off.
Okay, we are good. Then it gives us a breakdown of, there's our mission type. Waiting for brakes to set. They check that. They are. Okay, our motor's not on. I don't know what they're talking about. They're loaded it, and now we're waiting for takeoff. So that's just going to monitor our flight. It's going to show us our little plane, and wherever we fly, it's going to leave breadcrumb trail, and we're going to go to Idaho Falls. So we just minimize that out of the way. Now we're free to fly. We got to do what we need to do. So the first thing, let's get this thing fired up. And yeah, I have a yoke, rudder pedals, I have a switch panel, automatic pilot panel, a radio panel. I've got 2 throttle quadrants, so I have everything. So I'm going to put my mixture to full rich, and I am going to turn on. I don't have any, we're icing up just sitting here on the ground. So first thing I'm going to do is look down here and turn the fuel on. Okay, our fuel is on. We can say our fuel quantities right here, left and right tank, they're both at full. So that's exactly where we wanted it to be. Okay, to start an engine, you want at least your beacon. I do my nav lights on. That kind of warns people. Okay, yeah, I don't have. Okay, let's see what we can do. Got our night lights on. Okay, we got a good start. Maybe that'll clear some of the ice if the wind just blowing on it with sublimation. Oh, that's funny. Cause see, now our temperature gauge is showing, well, it's 40, 20, 0. So yeah, it's really can't. Just below freezing. -60, -40, -20. Yeah, so it's still cold, and we are, that's not good. Let's get in the air and burn some of that off. Okay, so we got her running. I'm gonna set my little camera angle here so we can kind of see. Okay, pitot heat's gonna come on, and I will do all my lights. Okay, adjust our okay, there's my radio communication. We're not going to use her. Throw her away. Him, whoever my co-pilot is. Tune to traffic. Okay, now we're on a radio. I got the headset on so it kind of simulates what I sound like when I'm in a plane talking on a headset. That's why my voice audio sounds the way it does. Give a little realism there. Okay, it doesn't have ATIS here, so we could go to Pocatello and get the ATIS, but we did see our winds are at 9 knots, 230 degrees, which means we're gonna taxi. Let's go ahead and select. Definitely want 25. Let's go ahead and announce our taxi.
Uniform Tree 6 traffic Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo is taxiing to runway 25.
Okay. And we will just take our brake off. Pressure, oil pressure's there. Okay, let's do a little taxi job. There are buildings at this airport, but ooh, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this in a Cessna 152. Okay, this is an uncontrolled airport, so we've talked, we're looking, we've told people we're gonna taxi. Here you got a back taxi. Nobody else is talking on the radios, so hopefully that doesn't mean somebody couldn't try to land, so you just got to keep your eyes. We're definitely flying VFR. Oh, this might be an epic failure. You can see the sun. Now if we had a bigger airplane, we do have planes that are set up for icing conditions. A 152, no. It is set up for just you and your buddy, half a tank of fuel going up and looking at fields or just playing around. I actually did my flight school in this very plane, so it's a good little trainer, cheap to fly. Okay, our altitude, or just a little over 4,400 foot, so we have density altitude in the summer to worry about. Now just the altitude in the winter time when it's this cold. We don't have to worry about density altitude, but it affects the performance of the plane immensely. We don't got a lot of horsepower in this little buggy, and we're maxed floated, so I'll get down to the end of the runway, do the run up. There's a full-blown run up. You'll have a checklist that you have to check your mags, and all I do on my checklist is make sure my lights are on, my flaps are set, and my air fuel mixture, wow, I'm having a hard time talking today, is correct. So the brakes are a little sketchy. Maybe later on the day it'll warm up. If it just gets above freezing, my icing will leave, because we're okay. I'm gonna pull off here, turn around, point it into the wind. We usually don't do this on the runway, but definitely want to point it into the wind. And I'll just do that before I take off. Okay, pointer right down the runway. See, this runway 747 is not gonna take off on it. Okay, we're gonna take her up to 15, 16, 1700 RPMs. Now I'm going to bring my mixture out. This is leaning it up. Try to get our air-fuel mixture. And you keep coming back until it stutters. Okay, there it stutters. Now we're going to add fuel a little bit. Okay, there's our air fuel mixture. Okay, all our lights are on. Pitot heat's on. We're going to do just one notch of flaps. Okay, all our gauges are reading, looking good. We are set for takeoff on our trim wheel. All right, let's do this. Okay, at full throttle, I'm adding a little right rudder to keep it center lined. There's a torque factor that wants to pull a plane to the left. The more horsepower you have, the more it wants to pull. So I don't have a lot, so I'm just giving a little. Okay, air indications coming up. There's 40, 45, 50. Rotate. Keep the nose down a little bit. Bring her up.
Transporter, good flight.
Oh yeah, see? I think I got too much ice already. Gonna land at a field. It's not very good for our first. What do we do wrong here? Let's take a look outside. I can't imagine I have that much ice already. Oh, yep, we're iced up a lot. Look at that. And that's just like a frost. That shows you how bad icing can affect a plane. Yep, I knew. I called it. I shouldn't have tried to take off though. It just needs to warm up just a degree or two. Well, that's very interesting. I thought we might be able to get up and burn that off with sublimation. I can come in here. It's already melting just with what we have right here. Damn, I like to fly real weather, but if it's not gonna let us, we can practice our green grass landing. Didn't make it too far from the airport. Oh, that was an epic failure. Okay, let's do a short field takeoff here. Let's just get her off the ground a little bit, stay in ground effect. Climb out of here, flaps up. Keep the nose down, airspeed coming up. The more airspeed, the more lift. Alright, now we're not icing anymore. Now it's going to be one of them cheating days. Okay, flaps up, taxi lights off, everything else is on. I'm just going to trim the plane for a nice little climb. Okay, we're not using any radio navigation or anything like that. I do know this area very well, so I'm actually going to do a complete VFR flight, visual flight reference. If I wasn't familiar with the area, I could tune into radios and fly little imaginary lines in the sky to the airport, but I pretty well know the area, so we're just going to get a nice little climb here. There's a big lake here. It's American Falls Reservoir, so we're just going to head to the northern tip of that. Basically, Idaho Falls is pretty much off to our 11 o'clock. Okay, we're not going to go too drastic high. We are a north. So we should be at an odd plus 500 at this. So if we stay at 5,500 feet, that's a good VFR altitude. And what that means, there's nobody talking to us. I don't have to talk to, I can get flight following if I want, just to help out with aircraft separation. Out here, there's not a lot of aircraft. There is hardly nothing out here right now, especially this time of year. Because, yeah, we proved it. We can't even take off. The plane will crash. So, in real life, we wouldn't even. I look outside and I got my Sky Vector flight planner up and all the airports. Idaho Falls is green, so that means visibility and everything's are good. Pocatello's blue, so it's not red, which means nothing. Yeah, I mean low visibility, but it's marginal enough to where, well, we just proved it. We can't fly in real weather today, and I wanted to fly, so we're gonna do exactly what I did. We're gonna go ahead and get us clean blue skies, so at least we can fly. Oh no, keep raising up. Need to drop down. So anyway, explaining that Bfr Flight from north to south on your east side of your gauge. So north, east, south. You're gonna go odd 1,000 plus 500. From south, west, north, you're going to do even plus 500. So that gives us 1,000-foot separation. So if someone's flying VFR towards me, he's going to be on the south-north side of the gauge, so he should be at 65 or 45. So he's either going to be 1,000 feet above me, 1,000 feet below me, and we can be on this same exact heading, and we'll just have 1,000 feet between us. He'll go over or under, I'll go over or under, and that's just kind of, but right now I'm at 6,100 feet. Now I can climb through. I can go up to 7,500 feet. I'm just a little lazy on my trim. The plane wants to climb. Now this river right below me, that's actually a canal. It's about 5, 6, 7 feet wide. And it shows it as a massive river. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. But other than that, you can fly pretty much VFR on here. Pretty simple because I see farms. They may not be correct, but they're close enough. I mean, I've flown all the way around the world in a Cessna 172, and you get to see a lot of the country. It's kind of enjoyable. Well, I enjoy it. But I can see farms that we're flying over. This big complex right off the nose of my plane. That's not there. That's actually farm ground. I'm not quite sure what it think it's picking up, the Bing maps, to make our ground the way it is. But my grandpa farmhouse is just right in front of us. We're actually going to fly right over my house. So yeah, you can fly around and actually pick out your house. And sometimes it doesn't catch up exactly. I've got like 6 grain bins all lined up in a row. It thinks it's a big shop, but my shops are shops. My grain bins look like a shop. So it's pretty close. But for VFR flying, this program's pretty amazing. This is pretty much where my whole family was born and raised, is out here. Right out my left window down there, that triangle, that's actually my brother's house. He lives in Grandpa's house. And then right off the nose of the plane is my house. Okay, I got my altitude coming down. Yeah, this big building right here out of my left window, that's not there. I don't know what it thinks is there, but no, we don't have a huge office like that. Might have a little house like that next to it, but yeah, we'll just kind of turn here, and got cars going down the main highway. There's that little canal that looks like a huge river. But yeah, right out of my left window there, that's my house and shops and stuff. So then one's off to the left, the long building. I have a semi parked right next to my shop. It actually shows my semi was parked the day Bing I do a little sightseeing. I live right on the edge of the desert, and I've actually come out here. We do a racer ridings and dirt bikes out here. You can actually follow all our dirt bike trails and stuff. It's that precise, which is amazing. I can leave my house, and Big Butte's right in front of us. We cross the desert and climb that and set on top. You can actually follow our dirt bike trails all the way out here on Flight Sim. You can see the trails off our nose. We can follow those all the way, and I can pick out the bike trails that we go. And there's some trails that I've never been on before, and I spend a day flying around in a little Cub following trails that I've never been on just to see where they end up. Because once I get clear over there, it's 20 some miles one way to get to the base of Big Butte. Sometimes fuel is critical, so we don't have a lot to play around. So yeah, VFR flying in this is pretty amazing. Okay, let's get her pointed. And this is basically all lava flow out here. Them Big Butte, Twin Buttes, those are all volcanoes and a lot of lava. Old age lava, I should say. It's kind of crumbled down, but I have a lot of lava rock in my yard. It's horrible. So we got right at the edge of the farm ground where there's not so much rock. It's okay. Trying to get the old plane trimmed at the 5,500 feet where I should be instead of gawking out the window. That's all you got to do in a 152. No autopilot on this, so once we get into the bigger planes, we just hit our autopilot. We'll have glass cockpits and all the fancy nav tools. But right now, this is just old school hand flying right out the window. Not even going to use, I mean, we could tune in a VOR. I've got the sectional right here. I mean, we can fly a radial right to it. It shows us IDA $13.85. So I switched my radio to 1835. Okay. Get my little pointer stick out here. Okay. This is our VOR. I just put the radio dial. I got into my sectional. I looked up what the frequency of a VOR, and I think everybody's seen a VOR station. It's a little building with a little cone top, and basically it shoots frequency lines out, and you basically tune in. So I can take my needle and just turn it nice and slow until the needle to the right comes center. And here it comes. Okay. Once that's centered, I'll use this about the same degrees, but I have no idea. We know the winds are at 230. How accurate? So we do have a wind coming this way, so we should be pushing us. But it could push off. We got a side wind. We got so basically what I'm going to watch is keeping that. If it starts to fade that way, that means I'm left turning into the line. I will turn into the line to bring it back. Or if it goes this way, you just turn into the line no matter, and just keep that centered. If I keep it centered, and this actually shows I'm flying towards it, and once we go over it, it'll flip and the air will drop down here and we can fly away from it. But right now we're flying to it. And as I turn this, you can watch it. And if I need to be at a specific, say I need to fly right at east, I can set that at east or 90 degrees, and I can turn into my line. And then once that line comes on, that means I am going into the 90-degree radial of the VOR of Idaho Falls. Some of your landing procedures, holding procedures, it'll actually give you a radial degree to be on, and that's how you do that. You'll just set that VOR to whatever degree you want to fly, and it shows right now we are right of the line, so I turn left, and I'm not even, I'm about 30 degrees, so the line's going this way, a little up maybe. So there's our 90, and we're this far off, so we're going not quite right into it, but, and then if I continue on around, it's just so slow turning, it will be forever. See, now it's showing us flying away. The arrow now points to the bottom. Now we're flying away from the VOR according to this degree I set. The plane's not. We're still flying towards it. But as this radio's saying, now if I couldn't see out the window and I'm supposed to be flying to, nothing's making sense here, because why am I flying? Oh, I don't have this set correctly. Now if I were to fly at the 135 degrees here, I would be flying away from the VOR. So there's a lot of cross-referencing. When this goes up, speed goes down. This goes down, speed goes up. So you got a lot of, well, if you go up, you might lose RPM. You go up, you gain RPM. So if you just take a minute, look at all of your gauges, things start to make sense. If you're confused, just take a minute. You first fly the plane. We can see outside. When you're in IFR conditions, you can't see outside, so there's no sense in, I can't see the horizon. I'm watching the artificial horizon. I'm watching my airspeed. I'm watching my altitude. I'm watching my gauges. I could really care less what's going on outside because I can't see anything. But you learn to do this in VFR conditions while you're flying VFR. Then you just glance at a gauge, and it makes crystal clear sense. I'm explaining it to you. I know in my mind, and you're probably listening going, if you're not a pilot, if you're a pilot, you're probably going, you're wrong. But things make sense the more you do it. So it's just practice. That's why you see planes out there just touch and goes. This is one thing you want to stay pretty much active in. Okay, let's go ahead and tune our radio correctly. Now I don't care what degree I'm coming in on, so basically I'm just going to turn this. It's showing us going towards the VOR now. That's what we want. And this airport is a control. Okay, there we go. Okay, about a 40 degree, and I'm at 30. We'll just adjust accordingly. If I had a glass cockpit, we'd know exactly what the winds outside are doing. Right now, I just fly. We'll turn in, we'll give it at 40. Maybe we'll fly around a 50 degree heading and see how well that holds. maybe if we fly out of Idaho Falls, maybe all we gotta do is get the weather to warm up a little bit. Then we won't have freezing, but we'll have clouds. We'll have to fly around the clouds. VFR, we can't go into the clouds. We got to keep our separations. I think it's 1,000 feet to the side, 500 feet below. You just stay away from clouds until you're IFR. If you're IFR, you can fly whatever your plane can handle. And as we can see, it doesn't take much. Just frost on your plane, and this thing won't take off. So if I was in a 182, it'd have probably took it off, and if I'd have stayed out of the clouds, sublimation would be, it just pretty well burns the frost off the plane. So if you do get icing as you're flying, you just get clear skies, get out of the clouds, and let sublimation take the icing off the plane. It just basically slowly melts it. I was flying a 182 from Jackson Hole into Pocatello, and I iced up pretty heavily coming over the Tetons, the Rocky Mountains, and I couldn't get into Idaho Falls, so I just found me a nice clear patch and did 360s, burned off all my icing, and found a route, and I landed in Pocatello. Okay, I'm kind of cheating here because we might be able to see the lights, but I see the lights of Idaho Falls already. Can you see them? I'll give you a chance to. They're high intensity blinking lights at the end of runway, probably runway 3, since we can see them. Okay, here's my pointer right there. You see them blinky lights? I believe that should be runway 3 of Idaho Falls. But what we want to do, there's KID. Let's tune to, oh, hey, we got ATIS. Let's tune to ATIS. It's going to give us the weather. Oh.
Idaho Falls Airport information Oscar 1500 Zulu. Wind 258 at tree. Visibility 9er.
There's our wind. 258 at 3 knots. Visibility 9. Sky condition clear. Temperature 15. Dew point.
ILS runway 21 in use. Landing and departing runway 21. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Oscar.
Okay, we have Oscar. Okay, well, so we really have nothing to worry about. They are using runway 21, which is in the opposite direction. We took off on runway 25, so that's no surprise. There's 2 different runways we can use here. So sometimes Flight Simulator puts you on some stupid runways, but we just... So we got Oscar, we got the weather. Now we can either request, because it says airspace, airspace class D. So anytime you're around a bigger airport, there are restrictions. You just can't fly in there. So if I wanted to fly through there, say we're going to Rexburg or something, hey, I'm going to fly through your airspace. They'll either tell us yes or no, or what heading or what altitude, so they know we're there because they've got planes taking on and off. That's a controlled airspace, so it's Class D. We want to land, so we're just going to request a full land where we're at, and we'll just do what they say.
Idaho Falls Tower Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo is 14 miles southwest 5,500 feet with Oscar to land.
Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo Idaho Falls Tower. Altimeter 29er.9er2 phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPSPH equals WIHND wind/phoneme 258 a tree. Enter left downwind runway 21.
Okay, he just gave us code. Oh, Okay, we gotta basically tell him what he told us, so we're
Enter
gonna...
left traffic runway 21 Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
Okay, you notice when we first made contact, I had to say the whole thing. There's our, and it could be November 186 Oscar November. That's just your plane identifier. I put my name on the side of the plane, so when you first make your contact, you have to say the whole thing. Once we know we're talking to each other, you can just use the last three. So whenever we hear Tango Echo Romeo, they're talking to us. If they talk to someone else, but the initial, you do have to say Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo. Then he's gonna make a note of that, and then we'll just use. So what's that's telling? We've already said, okay, we're both on the same page. I'm gonna do a left 21 runway. So the runway's this way. We pretty much know our direction. We want to be on the left side of the runway. We're going to enter the pattern downwind, go base, come in final, and land. So he's told us what to do. He's expecting the plane to be over here. We can't come over here. We can't go straight because planes are going to be taking off on runway 3, and we're right basically at the end of the runway, but we're 10 miles out. So that's why I'm slowly making a right turn. We're going to get on the left side of the runway, so the runway will be on my left side for a left downwind. The altitude is 4743, the elevation, I should say, of the runway. So a simple mathematic be 1,000 feet. We're 200 shy, so we're 800 feet. So we could climb just a little bit to stay. If everybody stays on the same page, he knows kind of where to look. And you should identify us. We're a Cessna. Seata said a Cessna 152 or a 182, because I could be a Cessna jet. Cessna jet, I'll probably use the RNF 21. We're fast. A Cessna, I could be a Cessna Caravan 208, and I could be doing 200 knots. I'm in a Cessna 150, Cessna 152, I'm 100 knots, excuse me. A 182, I'd be doing 110. They're pretty close. But if he knows I'm a small aircraft, he knows it's going to be a while before he has to deal with me. But if I'm a jet, I'm going to be on top of him. So when you identify yourself, hey, I'm a Cessna 152, the tower guy will know, okay, he's a small aircraft. He'll be a while. Okay, there's our runway. So we're going to head right towards the river. Get out of the path of, because they'll be taking off the same runway we're landing, so planes will be coming towards us. It's hard for me to fly like this 152 because I'm sitting here. I don't even have I have my feet resting on my rudder pedals. I don't even have my yoke in my hand. It's basically flying itself. It's trimmed. There's really nothing to do. The plane wants to fly. And I fly so many different aircraft that fly so much faster that if I was in a different aircraft right now, I'd be busy right now. These things, the workload, you have so much time, and this is why you train in a plane like this, is you have so much time to adjust, to do things different. If you're coming in with a high performance, say a TBM 930, we can be doing 220 miles an hour. Things happen quite fast. And if you don't have a lot of muscle memory. Okay, here's our runway. That's runway 3, runway 21. So we're going to fly downwind, turn base, come into final, and land runway 21. So we're just gonna, oh, and I forgot. Got to adjust these. Here's our magnetic. These have a tendency to creep on you, so we just adjust this pretty close. So there's our runway 3 and runway 21. They're magnetic headings. So when you see a runway 21, a pilot knows it's going to be somewhere plus or minus 210 degrees. I mean, they could say runway 21 and it could be 219, almost 220 degrees. I can look right here at my sectional runway. Runway 21. See, the true is 218 degrees is the heading for runway 21. So it's almost a 22. Okay, we can just see out of my left window. So 218 degrees. It's just no biggie. Here's our runway. So we're flying downwind. When we get about center runway, we're going to start getting prepared. I got to bleed off a little bit of speed. We'll do what we call gumps, gear, undercarriage, mixture, prop. You start doing all that getting set up. We have fixed gear, nothing to do with gear. Undercarriage, nothing to do. Mixture, yes, we'll go a little bit rich because as we drop, we didn't climb. Now if we came from 10,000 feet, you definitely want to put a little more fuel in there because you lower, it could just burn itself out. I mean, if you're leaned up, you drop down, there's not enough fuel, too much air. There's the other runway. So you give it a little mixture rich as we drop altitude. If we climb, we lean. As we climb, we rich. As we drop down, and prop, we have a fixed prop, so there's nothing to do there. Okay, let's slow her down. Gonna do my trim. We're gonna maintain this level.
Cessna Tango Echo Romeo phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPSPH equals WIHND wind flash phoneme 258 at tree. Cleared to land runway 21.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Cleared to land. Now let's answer him. Cleared to land.
Cleared to land runway 21 Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
X equals minus squared. Okay, I don't need computer code. Okay. Well, we got our speed bug. I'm going to extend my downwind. We're below the wide arc, which means I can use flap. So I'm going to do one notch, flap. You see the nose rise up, trim down. Okay, I'm going to turn and add a little fuel. Throttle, I should say. Okay, we're going to start coming down. So we're just going to do... And we're going to land at about 55 knots. What we want to do is a nice descent. Things are so slow in this plane. Got days. There's a big, huge building right out in the middle of the field of a grain field. Nice. Okay, we know there's the freeway ahead of us. We're crossing two freeways. I'm not coming down. So I'll come back on my throttle a bit. We're looking for the runway. I kind of overflew it a bit, but not bad. I was gabbing. Oh, we're almost lined up for the wrong runway. He'd probably go, what are you doing? Okay, now we're going to bring her back to about 17. We're going to hit another notch of flaps. We're going to That was a horrible turn into the runway. Over. Okay. Just gonna come down nice and easy. Our target is them big white blotches on the runway. That's a 1,000-foot marker. You don't want to land on the numbers that way if you miscalculate. You want to touch down on them big squares. I'm not going to do full flap. I'm just going to do a 2-notch flap. So we're just coming in. We're at 60 knots, centered line. We're looking at our flag off to our right. Not much of a crosswind. And I'm going to just hold it, bring back my fuel, and just, I don't want to land.
Transporter from dispatch.
Okay.
Nice landing. Go to the next parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch.
Okay, gonna come up a notch flap at a time. Gonna slowly roll to our next taxiway. Taxi.
Cessna Tango Echo Romeo, turn next taxiway.
Okay, here's our next taxiway. The yellow lines is what we want to follow. So, we will slowly move off.
Cessna Tango Echo Romeo, contact ground on 121.7.
Okay, he's telling us to change radio frequencies, so we're gonna tell him.
Going to 121.7 Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
Okay, we're gonna go to 121.7. We're gonna ask.
Idaho Falls ground Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo, request taxi to parking.
Cessna Sierra Kilo Echo Echo Tango Echo Romeo, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha Bravo.
Okay, Alpha Bravo.
Taxiing
Tango
to
Echo
general
Romeo.
aviation parking using taxiway Alpha Bravo Cessna Tango Echo Romeo.
Okay, we got to get permission from them to move around on the ground. They gave us clearance. Clearance. Okay, so we're gonna move. Okay, now I'm steering with my feet. Steer with my heel, brake with my toe. You don't steer these like a car, so. And I already seen where our guy wants us to park, so we're gonna make our turn off of Alpha. Now we're into parking. And now it's up to this guy. Where he wants us to park. And you don't have to. You can park anywhere you want. We could park right here if we wanted to. There's the 182 we should be flying. Okay, should be right off. Cessnas are great for us to be right. Alright, we'll turn right into here and you should be pretty close to our nose. Oh, where'd he go? They left. Dirty buggers. Okay, I was going towards him. If I'd have went through the dirt, he'd have parked me. Okay, we're just gonna pull up to, this is where we're gonna unload our cargo. So, we're here. Shut the motor off.
Transporter. Cargo unloading in progress. Stand by, pilot.
And pull the parking brake. There. Now we wait. We go outside, take a little look. Don't have ice. I can shut my, oh. Once you shut your lights off, it stops my program. So we will wait. I can push continue. Yeah. Gotta do me some screenshots. As they're unloading us. Oh, there he is over there. Okay. I missed him. They can sue me later.
Transporter from dispatch.
Okay.
The cargo was picked up by the customer. Your mission is completed.
Okay, now we're going to come out of Flight Sim. I don't know about yours, but I have to completely go out of mine. If I were to fly multiple missions and not get out, it would be something doesn't work or it crashes or so. Okay, bring our NeoFly up. Okay, we're back in our flying. It's completely gone. Here's all our information. I lost some of our safety because, oh yeah, I landed in a field, so we're not going to get full-blown bonus for that. Let's go to the log. There's our date, February 16th. We did a flight. We got paid $5,400 for that. That was easy cheesy. And we got 3 buttons out of 5. So if we got a great flight, your stall warning don't go off, which we lost. Our stall went off on takeoff because I landed in a field, so we lost that one. And my lights were on, so I'm not quite sure why it said that. But financially, $85 in fuel. We got paid. The insurance cost us $273, and it cost us $103 to land at that airport. Cheesy. Pretty easy. So there's our finance, there's our log. Now we're back to our hangar. It shows our little fuel burn. We started with 168, we're now at 145. Our hull's still good, our engine's still good. We still haven't even got an hour on our airframe yet. So everything's looking good. Staff. Okay, we got 90 points for that. So another 110. We can get out of cadet. It will be promoted. But right now we're still just a little guy. Okay, go to missions. There's the next rack of missions. And of course we're at a bigger airport. So here's the planes that are available. We got an extra 330, another 152, Cessna longitude. So if we go borrow $10 million and do our check ride, we can fly that today. Cessna Skyhawk. It's pretty much what we're flying right now. If it was a G1000 Cessna, we might buy that because that's a full glass cockpit. But we can buy a Cessna Skylark for $275. Okay, this is where I need help. Should we buy another plane or fly the Cessna? We could buy this for $275, sell our Cessna 152, and we can get into bigger because see our max payload is 867 compared to 589, so we gain 300 pounds, so we can carry more, we can make more. We'll make that decision on our next one. Other than that, that's our first Neo flight. Now we are in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Here's our choices of what cargo to fly, where we want to go, and yeah, so that's our first flight. First flight of many. We can pretty much go where we want to be. So we will see you next time.